Good afternoon. My name is Carol Gray. I am the BOMA Greater Dallas Awards Committee co-chair and the moderator for this session. In today's panel, we will cover everything you need to know about the TOBY process. Our speakers today for the session are Angelique Wade, Crescent Real Estate, BOMA Southwest Regional Awards Chair, Christy Walters, Duke Realty, BOMA Greater Dallas Board Member, Mary Learison, Holt Lunsford Commercial, BOMA Greater Dallas Awards Committee Member, Susan Lineweaver, Physicians Real Estate Trust, BOMA Greater Dallas Awards Committee Chair. Before I turn this session over to Susan, I have one more reminder. This session is being recorded. Also, if you have any questions that are not answered during the session, please email Colleen in the BOMA office and she will direct your questions to the correct person. Now, on to our discussion. Susan, I will turn it over to you.
So today there's a variety of topics that we're going to be talking about relating to the TOBY committee and also the presentation program that's going to be coming on with the awards this year. So some of the discussion points that we have today are just some general instructions and then basic information for you on why you should enter TOBY, how the program works, the requirements, dates, etc. So I'd like to just give you a little bit of information about the benefits of joining the, competing in the TOBY competition this year. So one of those would be to identify and improve building operation excellence. Another would be to create some opportunities to do some team building. This is going to be a very important and opportunity for you to learn more about your building and also work very closely with your team and other suppliers. This is also a program that's going to allow you to attract tenants and retain them because you're going to be spending more time focusing on those types of activities, and they're also going to be very pleased that you have a building of this magnitude. Of course, your owners are going to be very happy with things that are happening and the recognition that you're going to be achieving through this program, and also your colleagues and other professionals that you're working with. One of the final benefits would be your ability to apply for the BOMA 360 and also receive discounts on that program. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Christy.
Hello, everybody. I'm Christy Walters, and I do apologize if you hear my dogs barking in the background. It's just the nature of the beast right now. But I wanted to give everybody a little insight on some of the advantages to participating in the TOBY program, precisely how you will end up making stronger connections and relationships with people that can actually help you succeed at this. Definitely engaging your own team members. This would include your assistant property managers, admins. My tenant loved it. I ended up buying them a trophy that they really enjoy and showcase in their lobby. You also are going to need your vendors. There's lots of information that the vendors can collect much more easily than you can for the TOBY. So don't make it hard on yourself. Ask for help. Definitely make sure you're reaching out to the people that serve your building so they can participate. Also, don't forget about your resources within BOMA. We've got BOMA members, previous winners, people that are currently competing, as well as inside your own company. There's marketing departments. They can help you with a lot of the information you're going to need to collect. So I never choose to do it on your own. Definitely reach out to your team. It's going to benefit you and your team.
Hi, I'm Angelique Wade, and I'm going to talk to you about the different categories. As you can see here, there's several different categories, but what we wanted to get across is that there are several different categories that you may fit into besides the square footage category. For instance, if your property has more than one building, you may also be able to enter under the suburban mid-rise or low-rise category. Maybe you're leading the industry in your sustainability practices and should enter under the Earth Award. Possibly you have recently done renovations and could enter under the renovated category. You see where I'm going with this? You have several options, and one of our team members would be happy to discuss the best fit for you. So on to qualifications. There are specialized categories that have different requirements, such as retail, mixed use, etc. But for most of you, the following requirements must be met. The building must be at least 50% occupied. You must be at least 50% office space, 5 to 50% for industrial. You must have a local inspection and score at least 70% or higher. You must be managed by an entity that is a BOMA member. So that means that you may not be a BOMA member, but your property management company, as long as they're a member, you can enter. You may not have won international in the same category in the last 5 years, but you can enter a different category after 3 years. The building must have been occupied by the first tenant for 1 year before June 15th, 2021, with a minimum of 12 months of building operations. And you must be benchmarked on Energy Star, except for industrial, and share your data with BOMA International. This doesn't mean that you have to be Energy Star certified. It just means that you need to be entering your data and also sharing it with BOMA International. There are different qualifications for mixed use for the energy requirements. Now the cost. What does it cost to enter? You can see the fees here. And not required, but some things you also might consider is extra cleaning you need to do for the tour. Professional photos are very important. I think Mary's going to talk about that a little bit more. Repair and maintenance costs that you may need to take care of. Breakfast and lunch for the judges, because they are there typically at breakfast and through lunch. And then if you want to provide gifts for the judges. So now I'm going to pass it on to Mary.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mary Learson. So there are two main components to the actual competition. One is the book and one is the tour. So I'm going to talk to you guys real quickly about the book. Basically, a book is that. It is a book to tell the story of you and your team in your building. Note that this should be your main focus, because our regional and international judges, they will never get to see your building. Your tour is only for your local department. So it's very important. And it takes the longest time to produce. So what we recommend is you print off the requirements for the category that you're considering entering and evaluate. Note all of the programs that you may not be doing. Try to implement those missing programs or items. Not everything costs money, so not everything's associated with money. There may be things that you can start doing now or implement at a future date. The more programs you have equals the more points you will receive. So that's why it's very important. We've listed here for you the categories that will be judged, and we added the point system. So you can notice that they put a heavy emphasis on some of these categories over others. There's going to be a community impact section. How does a community benefit from your building? Through number of jobs that it produces, through tax impact, charity drives, tenant relations, how you interact with your tenants, tenant retention programs that you may have. The largest points are going to be given to energy conservation. So just note that as you're starting to plan for this, that should be a heavy focus. And that doesn't just apply to office buildings. Even if you've got industrial buildings, retail, there are things that you do alongside with your tenants towards energy conservation. Environmental and sustainability is going to be another large section of that book, as well as your emergency preparedness and then training for the personnel. So the management, remember, it's a management award, not a building award. So your book needs to focus on your team, right, and your team's success. So just some highlights of our award-winning books, what they consistently always have. They're going to be well written, right? You can tell those books who they divvied out all the responsibilities and were written by several different people. Again, the story should flow as a storybook. Use the maximum words allowed. The books that consistently win, they use all the space, right? They have things to say about their building, and you can tell how proud they are. It's obvious that you can see where people start out great because their first sections are awesome and they run out of time. So towards the end, they get shorter and shorter. So with that, you need to have your well thought out categories, meaning that every category should be equal. If you're starting to write your book and you notice that you have plenty to say in some categories, and some categories you really don't have much to say, those are the areas you need to focus on in making your improvements. The book should visually describe the building, their team, and how they operate. It should be very clear to the reader about your property. Again, the regional and international judges will never get a chance to see your building. Have professional looking photos. That's going to help tell your story. And believe it or not, I've seen some crappy photos be submitted. And again, your photos should be in line with your property and your team. So pay attention to those. There's many, digital things you can do to enhance your photos. They don't have to be done by a professional photographer. They just need to be professional looking. So don't just insert photos that you may have on your cell phone taken at the last minute. Thought needs to go into that. Sounds simple, but spelling errors, again, those do stand out. In addition to all the other attachments need to be well done and professional. I think that's it.
Okay, on to the building tour. We joke, a lot of people are scared of the building tour, but it's not something you need to be scared of. On the tour, you must score at least a 70% or higher. The tour score is combined with the book score that Mary just talked about to get your total local score. And as she said, the tour does not go on. Nobody can tour your building outside of locally. So the judges regionally and internationally just get a verification form saying that your building has been toured by somebody locally. You can see here all the different points associated with all the different categories, and it's important to check the scoring sheet every year because it does change from year to year. Many people are under the impression that your building has to be perfect for the tour. This is not the case. This is a property management award, and property management is nothing if not doing the best with what you have. Normal wear and tear is fine. Ongoing construction is part of the job. Having an elevator down on the day of the tour is just what we live with every day. The judges are going to be looking to see that your building is well managed and that your team works together to get the job done. Another myth is that, what is that other myth? Is that the tour is the most important part of the process. Again, as Mary said, the book is a larger part, but you still want your building to look great. And next, don't be worried that the judges will see something that you don't want them to. You set the tour path, you pick the restroom you want to see, you pick the mechanical room you want them to see, you pick the path you want them to take. So it's best to take the judging sheet and lay it out on the path that you will take. None of the judges are allowed to say, can I see in that room? Can I look in there? They're not allowed to do that. And we have a lead judge that knows that, and we have a BOMA member on all the tours that will keep all the judges in line and keep them from doing things like that. Now, Chris, I'm going to pass it on to Christy so she can talk about some industrial myths.
Sure. A lot of industrial buildings are triple net, so we do limited services on the property, and that is absolutely not a barrier to you entering an industrial building. You have policies in place, you have tenant services you provide, and I would definitely encourage you to reach out to those triple net tenants that you maybe don't have as much communication with, because you're going to be able to build a really nice, strong relationship, and they're going to enjoy getting to earn this kind of recognition for a building that they basically take care of. So I would definitely don't shy away from your triple net buildings. They can absolutely compete and win. You're definitely not on your own. Definitely, you have your team members, you have BOMA mentors, there's tons of people that want to help you succeed. So definitely don't think that if you're going into this, you're going on your own, you're going to be out there on an island. There are tons of people that want to help you internally and externally. So definitely don't pass up the opportunity, and don't wait until the last minute to ask for help. If you want to participate, get them engaged day one, and you will definitely be able to pull everything together and create a great book and tour.
So for those that may be on the call today who are not really interested in doing it this year, but you're on here because you want to do it in a future year or next year, you're planning ahead, which is great. We do encourage you to put your name on the list to be a possible tour judge. It's a great firsthand way to gain some knowledge on exactly how a building tour flows, what's expected. It helps you get comfortable with the process. And more importantly, you can visualize your building tour from the judge's point of view, right? You can see great things that other people have done. You can see mistakes that they may make. So it's just great practice. We do encourage you to put your name on the list to be considered for a judge. And because the earlier you get involved with this, the better your chances are of producing a great winning property.
That is great information. Thank you so much for sharing. Are there any other questions out there? We'd be glad to answer them. Okay, so I'm going to turn this over to Susan so she can tell us some more about our important dates.
Thank you, Carol. So I think as a property manager, most of us are pretty big planners. So these are important dates to keep in mind as you're planning your year. I know that things have happened this year with COVID that you weren't expecting. That might be putting a little kink in your system, but these are very important dates. They are firm deadlines. So today is the first step. And as the team has mentioned, there's really a lot of opportunities for you to start thinking about whether you would like to participate this year or whether you'd like to become involved to see what the process is like and take that on in a future year. That is not uncommon. I did it myself, and I wanted to make sure I understood what was going on, what was expected. I brought in my engineer, and I kind of planned out in my mind how things were going to be working timing wise. So today is the very big first step. There will also be a mock tour that'll give you an opportunity to visit a property and take a tour and ask questions. You can bring other staff. I brought my engineer the last time so they can see what's going to be expected, because there is work that all of the team has to do in advance of your own tour. That would be later in the year. So June 3rd is the date for the mock tour that we have scheduled. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you'll learn a lot during that event. The date that you will begin to commit to participating in the TOBY would be July. So you have a full month to go online, enter some information, and kind of raise the flag that you're going to be participating in this next round. If you would like to be a judge, we will be taking applications for people that would like to volunteer to do that. You can participate even if you are not going to be entering a building this year or the next year, or if maybe you think that's just your calling. So be a judge. That's a great way to give back and to learn more about buildings and also about the program. So in preparation for that, we will be having a variety of training, whether it's for books being submitted like we are today. There's also going to be judge training. We have people that are judging books, so that is another type of training. And then the tours that we've talked about will be occurring in November. There's a variety of people that will be coming, and it'll be following the guidelines and the scoring sheet that we just talked about today. So there's going to be no surprises, and you can control where people are going. So that's going to be great. There's also going to be an opportunity to have someone help you with your book. And so that means you cannot wait till the last minute to submit. I think out of all of the things I've learned during the process, even though I thought I was well prepared, was you just can never be preparing your book early enough. There's basic information that you can be working on right now. So take advantage of having that time. So you'll have some time to look at that book in November, and then the actual book will be submitted in December. On December 9th will be the deadline. And then there'll be things that are going behind the scenes with the actual review of the books and things like that. And then the awards banquet is scheduled for January 30th, 2021.
Thank you, all of our panelists, and thank you to everyone for joining us today. If you are not able to cover all of your questions, please reach out to Colleen in the BOMA office, and we will make sure those questions are going to be answered for you. And we wish you a great day, and thank you so much.
There was a question from Eric. Did you see that question from Eric?
I did not.
It looks like he said, how would you approach your owner about participating in the TOBY?
Well, I can kind of touch on that briefly. From experience of both office and industrial, you want to approach it from, if you win, the marketability, right? So that goes in line with your leasing efforts of marketing the building and all of our flyers to the community that this is an award-winning building. Obviously, owners are interested in their NOI, right? So everything that they can do to help, it's another amenity, it's another something that can go on all the flyers, and the leasing teams can help sell the property when they're showing the property that it's got an award that most other buildings don't have. So that would be my advice, would to be hit it up from, you know, how it's going to affect their bottom dollar from an owner's perspective.
Well, and I'd like to interject as well. If your owner is focusing on customer satisfaction, the programs that you're going to be putting in place, whether they have to do with energy or operating expenses, or making sure that you have your documentation in place, that you've been providing the proper inspections and things like that, all of those are going to also flow into the operating expenses potentially on a very positive basis. You're going to have the retention that Mary just talked about with your tenants, but there's going to be an enthusiasm also with your team. People are going to work harder. Your vendors are going to work harder for you because they are part of it. You're going to ask them to be part of it. You're going to have them at your table at the awards banquet. And let me tell you, when you need service and there's something wrong in the building, it will translate into them feeling more engaged, and that you will get better service, I assure you.
Also, it's relatively one of the most inexpensive team building items you can do. And, you know, the more pride the team has in the building, the better the building's going to look, the better it's going to look for leasing efforts. So that would be another benefit.
I thank everyone. We'll take more questions, but if not, again, thank you.